Okay, there we go. Okay, good. I'd like to call this meeting of the Union High School District number 70 to order. There we go. This is a special meeting? No, a public hearing. This is a public hearing. So before we begin, I'd like to have I'm going to start all over. Good evening. Thank you for being here. We would like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. So please stand, led by Mr. Gonzalez. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. This is the second public hearing on instructional time model, flexible schedule, and testing and academic environment. Mr. Brianza.
Thank you. Last month, as required by law, we had the first of two public hearings for instructional time model, and this is the second one. In our regular scheduled board meeting at 5:15, we will have an action item to consider that item. Once again, the instructional time model was approved several years ago for all Union High School District campuses, schools that were built at that time. Luckily, since then, we've added Summerton High School. So in order to use this instructional time model, which allows for students to engage from home when there's emergencies such as AC and have to close school, power's out, whatever the case may be, then students are able to engage from home and it counts as an instructional learning day, and the students will not have to make the day up on a Saturday or, for example, after the end of the school year. So this allows that flexibility as well. So if there's any questions, I'm more than welcome to entertain them.
Does any board member have a question? Thank you, Mr. Brianza. I think we're good. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned till 5:15.
So, just before we run off and do whatever we have to do, we do have some cupcakes in the back for a couple of our staff members are retiring, and just want to be able to recognize them for their years of service. The cupcakes are just a nice little thing. It doesn't really show what they did, but we do have Gina Legas, who is retiring as executive assistant, and hopefully it's not being recorded anymore because I know she spent a year with me, and now she's like, I'm done.
This is a great group. We only need 30 seconds. I love it. Thank you. So I'd like to call to order the Yuma Union High School District Number 70 Governing Board meeting. Since we did the pledge for the prior meeting, we're going to skip it for right now. And we're going to go straight to reports. Board members may have a discussion about conferences, visitations, legislation, special recognitions, donations, etc. Before I go, is there anybody else who would like to report? Mrs. Craddock, please.
I was able to attend the graduation at Cibola, but I wanted to say overall, congratulations to everyone for a job well done for last year, and good luck next year.
Thank you. Gentlemen? Mr. Gonzalez.
I just want to piggyback. Ms. Karen, her and myself were in the graduation. It was great to see her there. Shaking 400 kids' hand, it's a lot. Standing 3 hours is a lot, but it's worth it. So I can't wait for next year. I also want to say a few words for Gina and Lisa. So please turn around and see me. I'm just kidding. Even though I have known both of you for less than 4 years, it seems like it's been longer. It's been a lot of fun working with both of you. Thanks for never taking yourself too seriously, and I was making sure I felt like I could talk to you. Coming to our monthly meetings is really has made it one of the most enjoyable places for me to be, and your influence has been a huge part of that. It was great to work with someone who was as good as listening as they were talking. You both have been great team players, and I have really enjoyed working with both of you. I will very much miss the guidance and support that you both gave me, and I wish that both of you the chance to do I wish you both get the chance to do everything you have been dreaming of your retirement. So I love you both.
Thank you.
That was really nice. Do you want to go next, Mr. Lara?
Why is everybody laughing? I'm just. I am. You know, I think you're an awesome team. It was pretty fun and interesting working with you. I always wanted to fire Gina, but I wasn't able to. So you escaped from me. But I'm gonna miss both of you. I'm gonna miss both of you, and thank you for always being there to help me. Thank you. I'll miss you.
So before I talk about our two employees that are leaving, sadly for us, happily for them, I wanted to report that I was fortunate enough to go to 2 graduations this past month. I got to experience the largest graduating class that Vista ever had, which was so wonderful. And I got to participate with Mr. Brianza at COFA. So as Mr. Gonzalez said, shaking all those hands is, they're long and they're sweaty. But I loved every second of it, and I'm so proud of everybody who walked across that stage with attitude and swagger and a smile, because those diplomas are well-deserved. So our kids are doing great things, and I love seeing it. So thank you for that opportunity. To Ms. Anderson and Ms. Olivas, both of you have kept me organized and informed when I knew nothing. I still know very little, and you're leaving, and this is a problem. You will be missed, and if you ever get bored, come volunteer. We adore you, so thank you so much for all you do. Okay, on that note, let's go right into Superintendent's report, Mr. Brianza.
Outstanding. For Superintendent's report, every year, Eric Patton has the best job every day out of the year because he works for Yuma Union High School District. But every year he's able to go and surprise students with a wonderful check from Helios Education Foundation, something they do not have to do, but they know what's special in Yuma County and at Yuma Union. So I'm not going to steal any more thunder from Eric Patton, but I do know that he's up here to talk about his 6 surprises that he gets to celebrate with different individuals throughout the week of April, or the month of April and May. So, Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. Brianza. Good evening, Governing Board and Superintendents. So, about 6 years ago, Helios Education Foundation made a commitment to Yuma Union High School District students by providing what will amount to over time $3.6 million in scholarship money to exclusively our students or members of each graduating class beginning in 2019 all the way through the class of 2028. So 10 consecutive years, one student from each school will receive a scholarship worth up to $60,000, $15,000 annually to cover tuition, and then if there's money left over, it covers some other things too. But its primary goal is to make sure that if you're especially an in-state student, you will not have to pay $1 in tuition. That does not exclude students who are from out of state, pursuing out of state colleges. They are covering that for them as well as up to that $15,000. So every year, with some coordination with Helios and the communications team, we've had the opportunity to basically spend a week shedding some tears of joy, surprising students with the notice that they got the scholarship. It went from about 30 students applying across the district between our 6 schools to over 80 applying, and that's kudos to, you know, the word getting out and the surprise videos over the years being seen, but also our counseling staff and my communications team helping spread the word about the scholarship application. This year, there was a bit of a delay due to some of the delays with the federal application for student aid, the FAFSA, as we know it, taking a couple of months to get processed. So that caused some anxiety for some families wondering if they had received it or what the decision was being made. But needless to say, it's a very tough decision for the Arizona Community Foundation and Helios when they're reviewing these 80-something scholarship applications to decide between the amazing students. And we are fortunate enough to have 3 of them here with us today. So I wanted to acknowledge those students, and I'll explain where you can see more about their surprises in a second. So first we have Grace from Cibola. We have Kira from San Luis. And we have our San Luis student who I didn't prepare for because I didn't see her in the audience. I'm sorry, what was your... Annalise from San Luis.
I don't think so.
Someone else come? Oh, and Patrick snuck in too without me seeing him. Patrick from Yuma High School. So 4 students made it today. One unique thing about Patrick being here today is he was also selected by his campus to be on our billboards for representing Yuma High. That has been a point of confusion for many years because the first year the scholarships were given out, 2 of the students also were on the billboards. So it's only the 3rd time that's ever happened. So congratulations to Patrick as well. If you guys want to see the surprises in full, they are available on the district's YouTube page. They're also pinned to the top of the district's Facebook page. They can also be emailed directly. If you guys can't find them, just let me know and I will send them to you. Without further ado, I did want to get a picture with the students and you guys, if that's okay with you. We want to send that to Helios to show them that they were acknowledged, and we discussed that here. And if you ever see anyone from Helios, please, please, please thank them with all of your heart over their gratitude and support for our students, and that will continue. And they are going to include Summerton High School in that starting in 2027 as well. So it'll be a little more than that 3.6 million that I referenced earlier when all is said and done. So students, if you guys want to come up and grab a picture really quick, and then we're going to do one with just the students, and then I also wanted to embarrass their families as well, and we'll get a picture with all of them together. So we'll all meet right here. You want the board and superintendent?
And the superintendent.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, and congratulations, students and parents. Feel free to leave and grab a cupcake on your way out, or you can stay as well. But I just want to say thank you very much, and we do wish you the best of luck. And when you are needing a job, come back and visit us. We're always hiring. Along those lines, before I give it back to you, Madam President, I just want to say that in life, it's very hard to find mentors in your roles that you have. So Diane's looking kind of at me like, where am I going with this? But for me, as a first-year superintendent last year, I had Ms. Olivas, who was probably the best mentor I had because she knows the job inside and out. I know she's shaking her head, but she knows what she would tell me to do and the approach, and I do appreciate her wisdom and guidance. Very good mentor, but she's also been mentoring me since about 2000 when she was at Cibola, reminding me to iron my shirts. So I do have to tell you, we have a very good relationship, but Gina, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Outstanding individual. We will miss you. Another mentor I have is Lisa Anderson. So anyone that's worked with Lisa Anderson knows that she's a jack of all trades and a master at all of them, which can't be said for very many people. But she has the amazing ability to make you feel connected and make you think outside the box. So I just want to say, Lisa, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Since '96, you've been making me think a little differently, and I probably wouldn't be in this position today if it wasn't for you. So thank you very much.
Oh, that was mean, right?
And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. I appreciate you. Okay, enough. I got to pull it together right now. Let's get into that numbers. So budget update. Oh, please, Ms. Aguera, item 3.1. Thank you.
I know. It was like, let's bring this down a notch.
Yes.
All right. This is Diane's favorite part of the board meeting. I am here to present our interim budget, and this is as of June 3rd. We are nearing the end of the school year, so you'll see that reflected in our numbers here. The first page is your M&O budget that you have there. That includes all of our salaries and our fixed expenditures, as well as our school budgets. On the second page, you'll see that M&O budget continued, and that is all of our departments are listed there and how much we've spent so far. What is different on this one is was a revision that we did in May, so that was reflected in this budget. So our grand total budget for our M&O is $108,508,500. And of that, we've spent to date $66,694,872, so about 61%. Okay, your next page is our capital budget. On here, just a couple things. The first thing you see on here, the qualified school construction bond, you won't see that next year because that'll be our last payment, and then that's for our bond for our solar, and so that'll be finished this year. So that's something that you won't see moving forward in next year. The other thing on here is you'll see our transportation. Our expenditures are at 0, and in a previous board meeting, I had mentioned that budget is there if we need it for any capital expenses that we have in transportation. If we don't use it, then we use it in our district maintenance budget, which if you see there, you'll see their expenditures are over the 100%, but that's what you'll see there. With that in mind, our budget for our capital for our district is $20,401,176. Spent so far $5,460,182, so about 27%. our last page is our student activities fund report. And this is for May, so that'll probably be the last one, unless there's any expenses. But the ending cash balance that you see on there is $733,176.67. That's in total, and then on the bottom you'll see the year to date. So you'll see that the balance there for the school year is actually $9,534.38, which means they were, spending money. They still have some money, but do you have any questions?
Does anybody have a question?
I do on the capital outlay for the Summerton High School construction. That 6 million, was that for the new gym?
That's for anything related to our Summerton
But
construction.
Is it mostly for the gym that's been
Yes, it is. It is all. Summerton High School's paid off and for the actual school part, and this is 100% the gym.
okay? So,
I just had one comment, which is in the news, it's very scary to look at all of the districts around us sort of having issues. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for running such a tight ship and for always explaining things to us and to the public. So thank you so much.
Quick question here. It's actually in two pieces. One is in the curriculum research and development.
Yes.
What exactly are we doing as far as research and development? And then down below, superintendent, what is that list for?
So the curriculum research and development, that is for our curriculum, our department, which would now be like our teaching and learning department, and what some of the expenses that come out of there, where you'll see that money is for AP exams, curriculum. I don't know off the top of my head what else would be anything to do with the instruction that our teaching and learning department, I guess, would be who oversees that. And then the superintendent, the associate superintendent, is that the one you're saying, or the superintendent, would be their budget for their department, so Mr. Brianza's travel or membership dues, expenses that he would have as a superintendent.
And governing board as well.
The governing board has their own
Yeah.
budget, yes.
But superintendent also, that covers a whole host of things, and also sometimes my budget will cover professional development for leaders in our district, which we hosted at Summerton High School, AZ Alice. The research and development, there's not much research that really goes on.
Okay.
I don't know where that title came from. I think it's been there forever, but also includes like avid professional development. So I would say research-wise, to answer that, there's no, I wouldn't know what to answer for research.
Okay, so it's just a name on there, but it's not. Very well, that's all.
Anybody? Thank you, Ms. Segura, very much. Moving on to informational item 3.2, Summerton High School update. Mr. Brianza?
Thank you. I'm going to have help from our Executive Director of Facilities, Trevor Swenson. Pretend I'm Mr. Arviso right now. He's over in San Diego at the Avid, so I'm kind of pinch hitting. But we did reference Summerton several times in the budget. And we're very excited about where we're at moving into year 2. But just like any time you build something or you move into a house for the first time, you notice things that just aren't right, or things that have to be added. So for example, we were very fortunate that Avenir was able to donate a marquee, which it was on a donation a few months ago. We had the ribbon cutting, I think, about a month and a half ago, but we do have a picture up there just because it looks awesome. That was one thing that was added that really is able to help draw the community to the school itself. Going into year 2 as well, welding lab completion, adding another layer of classes, making sure that there's furniture for all those classrooms. That's all part of the bond and new school expenses that we did budget for. One thing that was done, that things happen in life, misspelling on the main plaque, and when you walk in, and we didn't have any titles for our president and vice president, so we got that updated as well. And if you want to click the next slide, one important thing is, believe it or not, when you're in the cafeteria or the Diamond Commons, as it's called in Summerton, you have to be able to communicate. And one thing that was added after the school was built, but was added recently, was a sound system. And we actually utilized that when we did our retirement recognition ceremony, and it was outstanding. And one thing that I really don't want to steal any thunder, but Mr. Arviso really wanted it up there. As of right now, there's a 0% dropout rate in Summerton. So my challenge for that staff is to maintain that over 4 years.
Over forever.
Forever. And that's my challenge for every dropout prevention specialist. And you will see some amazing numbers in August, most likely, at that board meeting for all the campuses. But right now, they're at 0%, and that means every kid's accounted for every single day. So that's really awesome. I do want to maybe turn over to Trevor now, because he's going to talk more about the actual construction going on for the Toro Plaza.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board members, President Kravitz, Superintendent Brianza, Associate Superintendents. Like Mr. Brianza said, my name is Trevor Swenson. I'm the Executive Director for Facilities. And I would just want to give a little update on the construction and how things are going. So the first two photos show the main entrance from the south parking lot. And you can see the construction's approximately 50% done as of now. Oh, thanks. The next photo, focusing on the entrance, you can see the steel structure going in. Just behind the welder and generator there, there's a concessions window for the future concession stand. Moving on, the next photo shows the interior of the gym, which will have a capacity to seat 1,300 plus people. The next photo shows the interior. So this would be standing at the front doors looking in. So to your left, you'd see the concession stand. Further on, if you can see that cone, that would be the entrance to the gym. And then immediately to the right, you would have the public restrooms. So there's large restroom facility. And then we do have some generous storage rooms, which has kind of been an oversight in previous buildings. Well, this one we've got lots of storage. And then as you go down into the building, we've got some generous locker rooms for both home and away teams. This is a photo of one of the locker rooms. And then this is a photo of the dance room, which is a pretty good sized room. It's about 25 by 40. It's going to have mirrors along the north and south walls with some stationary handrails. And finally, might be hard to see, but this is a layout of the building. So we've got the gym kind of at an angle, concessions in the front, restrooms to the right, and then, like I said, the locker rooms and the dance room in the back. So very cool, very fun project to be a part of and to see it coming together.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson. When is expected completion?
October
of this year?
24, correct.
Just checking. Thank you.
Any other
Anybody else have a
questions?
question?
Do we have any pictures of the plaque?
I believe they were sent on a Friday report a while ago. I can send them again too. I did not.
You didn't? I just wanted the people here to see it.
Yeah,
That's why.
it is amazing, and we do plan on replicating the same plaque for the gym itself, but just with the current board members and titles and all the correct spellings as well.
That'll be great.
Correct
Yeah.
spelling is,
That'll be great. Well, thank you.
well,
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Gonzalez.
I have a question.
yeah, I wasn't finished yet.
Mr. Lara, I
That's all right,
apologize.
it's all right. So do you want to explain what happened with the plaque, why I brought that up, or?
Yeah, this was a request, I think, from you in March to have an agenda item. So what happened with the plaque is we did not have the titles of president, vice president, which we had on our other plaques in our district. So be consistent with that. And we did have one of our board members' names misspelled, which happens. It should not happen. When I say it happens, it shouldn't happen. But it got through the proofing somehow, some way. And I do know that the plaque was redone and it's now up. And any other questions regarding the plaque?
No.
But
We're good, we're good.
but like I said, to be consistent, we are going to have a plaque on the gym.
Correct.
With our current board members and titles, and verifying all the spellings again.
Everything's right.
Yeah.
The reason I brought it up was I just found it puzzling that being the first Latinos from South County to be on the board and first president, and Summerton, that we were not mentioned in the plaque. All the other schools mentioned who the president is and everybody else, and that particular plaque was not.
And it's fixed.
And it's fixed, yes. Thank you, Mr. Brienz. You did a good job on that. So I just want to clarify that, and I know because people from South County, especially Summerton, thought that was disrespectful.
I apologize for the feeling of disrespect. As a proud resident of Summerton of over 20 years, I recognize the fact that they should have, they were not on there, were omitted, so we made sure that was taken care of, and I can assure you there was no meaning of disrespect, but I do recognize the importance of that as well.
And you did, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Lara. Mr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, I have a question on now that you mentioned that the gym is gonna hold 1,300 people in there?
Yeah,
Roughly?
about 1,365.
Yeah, I go by the gym every morning because I ride my bike through there, on the back part on the east side of the construction, which is Toro Avenue, where the stoplight is at. Are we gonna have any parking on that side at all in the future? Because if you do an event, 1,300 people park where the rest of the other parking spaces are there for the people that go and work there, what have you. Is there something in the plan for, probably?
I can't give you a definite answer, but I could definitely get back to you on that.
It will be on the east side of the building, which is the Toro Avenue. Because I know there's a lot of space, like empty space there. I don't know if the plan is to do more parking.
Yeah, I know there's some future development planned on the west side of that Toro Avenue.
I'm sorry, west, you're right.
So just know that right now, that's all the parking that's planned. As we build out, we'll have to see where finances are down the road. Also, there are down the road, and it would probably have to be a passage of a bond. The way funding is we would have to also consider an auditorium potentially. So that's going to take up some vast area of land as well. So these are things that, as we grow, we're going to have to have a 5, 7, 10-year plan. So right now, that's the parking, but at the same time, if there's opportunities to expand and finances to do so, it's definitely something to consider.
And maybe partner with Summerton to do the parking, perhaps?
Potentially, yeah, potentially.
Okay, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mr. Swanson. Moving on to informational item 3.3, first read of policies. Ms. Anderson.
What you have before you is the first read of policy and regulation JFABB, and this addresses the enrollment of foreign exchange students who are in a program, so it's a non-tuition paying students. The current policy, the policy that's currently in place, where you see the red strikeout, and then the revisions are in blue. The current policy we are not in compliance with. And so our teaching and learning team and our superintendent's cabinet studied the different policies across the state. And so you will see the recommended revisions to this policy. And then you see in the regulation a more streamlined approach that's articulated for the foreign exchange programs as they are seeking to enroll students in the Yuma Union High School District. So the current policy, as it reads, is the number of students that we are allowed to enroll is equal to the number of students that are participating in a foreign exchange program. And we don't track that at the high school. We don't track that data. We wouldn't know that. So what our proposal is that the limit that we won't exceed 3 at each school, foreign exchange students. And you see in the information item, this year we had 15 students. Currently, as of today, we have 10, and I still have some applications pending. We've got 4 at Gila Ridge, 3 at Yuma High, and 3 at COFA.
I thought I thought that table meant that that's how many spaces we had for foreign
Yeah,
exchange.
no,
students.
those are the ones from
Okay.
last year.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any questions?
And we don't get any funding
Nope,
for
nope.
them at all, so, and they don't pay tuition.
Correct.
So I mean, I agree with the limit.
Limit.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Okay, moving on to item 4, call to the public. Any person wishing to speak may present the information at this time only. All presentations are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes and a maximum of 15 minutes on each subject. Before you begin to speak, identify yourself by clearly stating for the record your name. Comments by members of the governing board in response to any public comment will be limited to asking staff to review the matter or requesting rescheduling of the matter for further consideration at a later date. I have one form, I believe, and a notebook, thank you, from Ms. Kay.
Good evening. I'm Wendy McKay. Good evening, Madam President, members of the Governing Board, Superintendent Brienza, and Associate Superintendents. My name is Wendy Lobeck McKay, as I just told you. I am a Yuma High School graduate, class of '86. Go Crims. It is very nice to see you again. On behalf of the Yuma High School Corollary alumni and former students of Taylor McBride, I stand before you this evening to humbly and respectfully submit our formal request to name the auditorium located within Snyder Hall at Yuma High School, the Taylor Dean McBride Auditorium. Prior to preparing this request, we carefully reviewed the district's updated facilities naming policy to ensure that our request falls within the guidelines. We did confer with Mr. Fritz, the principal of YHS, and district personnel for their guidance and assistance in exploring the history of Snyder Hall to determine whether the auditorium was ever officially named Snyder Auditorium. We found that the building itself was dedicated as Snyder Hall in memory of E.Q. Snyder, beloved principal of Yuma Union High School from 1925 to 1938. However, that auditorium that sits within the building has never been officially named Snyder Auditorium. We respect E.Q. Snyder's legacy, and we do not believe that naming the auditorium the Taylor Dean McBride Auditorium would take away from his legacy. On the contrary, honoring our dear friend, teacher, mentor, and longtime community leader would simply add to the illustrious history of the Yuma High School legacy. Mr. McBride, a YHS alumni himself, devoted most of his life teaching music to the students of Yuma High School. His tenure at Yuma High School began in 1964 and continued through his retirement in 2009. While choral music was where the majority of his time was spent, he also taught band and instrumental music during his many years at YHS. Many of Taylor McBride's students have gone on to become doctors, lawyers, teachers, professional actors, professional musicians, choreographers, distinguished businessmen and women, community, state, national, and global leaders, politicians, and respected members of society. We have included a number of letters of support within this request. They represent just a fraction of Mr. McBride's former students. Within those letters, you will learn that his students attribute their drive to succeed, their drive to do better, their drive to be better to their years as a student of Mr. McBride. His legacy will live on in each of us, but his name, permanently affixed to the auditorium in Snyder Hall, will ensure that his story and legacy will continue to inspire students long after all of us are no longer here. We did not bring any renderings or signage proposals with us this evening, but we are eager to work with Mr. Fritz and district personnel to come up with the proper signage that complies with district guidelines and complements the beautifully renovated auditorium, which is beautiful, by the way. As far as any costs associated with this project, we are prepared to cover any and all, and they will be paid for by donations from Yuma High School Corollary alumni and his former students. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. McKay. Mr. Brianza, can we please look into this?
Absolutely. We
Thank
can
you.
have something on the July agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another form for the call to the public, Jensen Rosenboom. I'm sorry if I messed up that name.
Good evening, Mr. Brienza, Governing Board, Associate Superintendents. My name is Jensen Rose Boom, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. I stand before you as a dedicated educator who spent the last 6 years at Gila Ridge High School. During my tenure, I've worn many hats: coach, club sponsor, teacher of various courses, as well as spending 2.5 years as the instructional leader for the Social Studies Department. It is with this broad perspective that I share my concerns about the current direction of Gila Ridge. In recent years, I've observed a troubling trend at Gila Ridge. There's a growing strain in the relationship between staff and administration, which has been particularly pronounced under the leadership of Ms. Hoover. My intent tonight is to highlight issues that need urgent attention for the betterment of our school community. Over the past 2 years, I've noticed a significant disconnect between the administration and the staff. This disconnection is not just perceived by the teachers, but also by students and their parents. A pervasive belief exists that students are not being held accountable for their actions, leading to a culture of indifference, in particular toward tardiness and absenteeism. This sentiment is echoed by parents who've struggled to enforce the importance of attendance when their children face no tangible consequences for their behavior. My attempts to address these issues directly with Ms. Hoover were met with defensiveness and deflection. During a meeting on May 22nd, 2024, my feedback was intended to be constructive, aimed at providing information that could assist in improving practices and relationships. Unfortunately, Ms. Hoover's response was characterized by frustration and a refusal to consider any need for change. At one point in the meeting, Ms. Hoover went so far as to use profanity while blaming teachers for their role in the problem. This interaction left myself and many of my colleagues feeling unheard and undervalued. Furthermore, the administration's lack of presence and engagement on campus is a critical issue. Informal observations and interactions with staff are rare, creating a gap between leadership and the day-to-day realities of our school. This absence undermines trust and fosters a sense of isolation among teachers. The administration's reluctance to prioritize relationship building and effective communication only exacerbates this problem. One poignant example of this disconnect occurred when I was an instructional leader. I attempted to decline participation in the PCBL launch team due to existing commitments. Despite my initial attempt to decline, Ms. Hoover pressured me into accepting the role and downplayed my experience in 2 follow-up meetings, which contributed significantly to my eventual burnout. This scenario illustrates a broader pattern of disregarding teachers' professional autonomy and well-being, and is an issue identified by leaders and classroom teachers alike. The culture at Gila Ridge has deteriorated under current leadership. The lack of open communication and collaborative decision-making has led to an environment where several teachers have expressed they fear retaliation for voicing concerns. This atmosphere stifles innovation and discourages the kind of constructive dialogue necessary for a thriving educational community. Sorry, I wasn't able to finish. I provided a full letter to Mr. Brienza earlier today that I'd encourage all of you to take a look at.
Thank you. I have no more white cards. Is there anybody else that would like to do a call to the public? Okay, thank you so much for your participation in our meeting. Moving on to consent items. It is recommended that the governing board approve the consent items as listed. We are pulling personnel numbers 54 and 201. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Ms. Craddock, to accept the consent items as listed with the exception of personnel items 54 and 201. Any comments or concerns? Let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Thank you. Now I have to get to the next section. How do I do that? The ribbon on the right. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't know why I can't remember that. Okay, we're going to accept donations. This is exciting. Action item 6.1. Consideration to accept donations. Allow me to read them. Cibola High School, donors choose donated 26 boxes of reeds to Cibola High School Performance Band. The estimated value of this donation is $578.04. Megan Montague donated $520 to the Cibola High School football program to be used to purchase football helmets. Donors choose donated items to Cibola High School freshman math class. The estimated value of this donation is $173.29. Donors choose donated art supplies to Cibola High School Library. The estimated value of this donation is $349.42. Gila Ridge High School, Maria Razzo donated 55 cases of bottled water to the Gila Ridge High School class of 2026 for concessions. The estimated value of this donation is $294.08. Darren and Kira Ellsworth donated a play kitchen to Gila Ridge High School Little Hawks Preschool. The estimated value of this donation is $250. Joy Russell donated golf balls to the Gila Ridge High School Girls Golf. The estimated value of this donation is $450. To Kofa High School, the Council for Economic Education donated $500 to Kofa High School economic students to be used for travel expenses. Jack Rice donated art supplies to the Kofa High School art program. The estimated value of this donation is $225. To San Luis High School, the City of San Luis donated $500 to the San Luis High School Counseling Department Senior Awards event. Summerton High School, Cyril Atherton, coach, donated 6 banners to the Summerton High School weight room. The estimated value of this donation is $170. To Yuma High School, donors choose donated books to the Yuma High School Library. The estimated value of this donation is $851. The total donations this month is $4,860.83, with a grand total year-to-date donations of $430,576.30. Wow. It is recommended that the governing board accept the above listed donations. Is there a motion? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns? Perfect. Then let's vote. All those in favor of accepting the above listed donations, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.2, the revised facilities rental fees for the 2024-2025 school year. Mr. Brianza, Ms. Corduroy, is there any question about this? Anything you want to share?
This is just kind of an annual review that we do every year for facility rentals, as we have minimum wage going up and increasing every January, and we give raises. We continue to have to adjust our personnel costs for facility rentals. So primarily that's what this is. And then the other area is we had noticed that we had an area where we had personnel to cover scoreboards and we didn't have the rates in there. So that's the other adjustment that we made.
I have one question for you. We're intentionally listing the school year for this. So we're going to revisit this again next year.
We do it every year because of the personnel costs.
Okay,
as they go up.
Does anybody else have a question? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the revised facilities rental fees for the 24-25 school year? So moved. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gonzalez. Any comments? Let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.3, replacement fees for equipment uniforms. It's recommended that the governing board approve the replacement fees for equipment uniforms. Any comments, questions, concerns before we make a motion?
This comes from our district athletic directors. And as you mentioned in the previous item, the year was removed from this item. This was an annual review. The athletic directors felt that it does not necessarily need to be reviewed, and they will review it annually, but the changes, if there are no changes, it doesn't need to come back to the board every year.
Great.
So you see that the year was removed from this, but there are no changes from last year.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody else? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Second? Thank you, Ms. Craddock. It is recommended that the governing board approve the replacement fees for equipment uniforms. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Action item 6.4, modified delegation of procurement authority and revocation. Ms. Corduroy, is there anything to say about this?
This is also a process as we have Ms. Anderson choosing to leave us. You're welcome. She is currently, along with myself, delegated to be able to sign contracts and documents on behalf of the board as delegated by our governing board. And so this removes her access from that, gives that access to Rob Jankowski and myself continuing.
Thank you. Anyone have a question? So I would love a motion.
I move that the governing board modify the delegation of procurement authority for the purpose of authorizing and signing contracts to Rob Jankowski, Associate Superintendent, and Diane Cordery, Associate Superintendent, until revoked or modified by further governing board action, and revoke the delegation to Lisa Anderson effective July 1st, 2024.
Thank you. Motion made by Ms. Craddock, thank you, and seconded by Mr. Lara, thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns? Thank you. Let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Action item 6.5, the Ed Tech Coach job description. Mr. Lambert, I see you walking
Making
out.
my way. One of many times tonight, as always. Just really quick to give you a little bit of background, this Ed Tech Coach position is a new position, and the purpose of this position is to support and empower teachers to integrate technology effectively into their teaching practices and to enhance student learning outcomes. The technology integration needs and challenges for the teacher, and it's also recommending technology tools and applications that align with curriculum and engaging students. So that's kind of a little bit of background on this position, and I'm available for hopefully any questions you may have.
Ms. Craddock.
Will there be one of these at every campus, or just one for the whole district?
So
Do you want me to address that, Mr. Lambert?
if you know about the future, but sure, I'll pass it to Mr. Brienza.
Well, it's dependent upon federal funding. Currently, we have two that were more of a pilot program, but now we're formalizing it with a job description. And in our upcoming grant, we've written in for 2 more positions, so there'll be 4 in the district. They are actually a 0.6, which means they will be teaching in the classroom, which will be their lab as well, working with technology, trying out innovative things coming along with technology, cutting edge, so then they can be practitioners in their lab, their classroom, but then teach teachers across the district, and it's going to be a team approach. So we'll have potentially 4 in the entire district that will be tackling each campus as needs arise. But I think it's important to note that they will be in the classroom teaching still, and this is a part-time job for them during the day.
So is this an extra duty, or is this just sort of explaining their regular duty?
It's part of the regular duty. So for example, a teacher may teach 5 classes for a full-time schedule. So if they're a tech coach for 3 periods and then they're teaching 2 periods, that means they're a full-time job. And I think it's important to note that as we are recruiting teachers who maybe didn't go to school to be teachers, we just offer jobs to some Helio Scholarship winners when they graduate. So I'll be more than happy to hire them as well. But they may not go to school to be teachers, but they're phenomenal with kids. We have to be able to teach them skills, whether through an instructional coach or tech coach, on how to use technology and the apps to further the learning for students.
Any other questions? I think we're good. Thank you.
Done a good job.
It is recommended that the governing board approve the Ed Tech Coach job description. Is there a motion? So moved. Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Lara. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving to action item 6.6, the student fee schedule. It's recommended that the governing board approve the 2024-2025 student fee schedule. Mr. Brienza, is there anything to add?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Yep. These are the fees charged for different areas on our campus.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, let's take a vote. Is there, well, I guess I need a motion first. I apologize.
Make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 student fee schedule.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Lara. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item 6.7, it's recommended that the governing board grant easement 1 and 2 at San Luis High School to the city of San Luis. I think we all got the grant in our board book. Is there anything to be added?
This actually dates back to the early 2000s when our San Luis High School was built. There's a lift station that's currently on our property, and we have, since that time, we've had subdivisions that have joined on, or a subdivision that's actually joined on. The city's always maintained this lift station, and as well to go into the subdivision. They're now in the process of adding another subdivision, and so, and in order to relieve us from having any sort of liability to fix that or maintain that equipment, and to give them permission to run lines for the second subdivision, you have actually 2 easements here. One is for the lift station. The other one is to add the second subdivision onto that lift station, which means they would have to go through a small part of our property outside of the gate line or our fence line to be able to make that connection, and they would replace that and put it back as it is. So a non-event for the most part for us, but relieves us of some liability potentially down the road.
Great. Any questions? Is there a motion?
I move that the governing board grant easement 1 and 2 at San Luis High School to the city of San Luis.
Thank you, Ms. Craddock. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lara. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Action item 6.8. There is a recommendation that the governing board approve Mr. Tim Brianza to serve as board member for the Education Foundation of Yuma County again.
Last year, it was only for the 23-24 school year. So in order to make it timeless, we've taken the year off. So if still gainfully employed every year, we won't have to take it. So I'll be good this year and hopefully the following year. So until there's a change, that you wouldn't have this as a board action item.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns from anyone? Is there a motion?
I make a motion to appoint Mrs. Sanders, no, I'm just kidding. Mr. Brianza for the Yuma United School representative to the Education Foundation Board of Yuma County.
Thank you for that motion. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Brianza, you're on the Ed Foundation board again. Action item 6.9, we're talking about the proposed instructional time model.
We've had 2 public hearings. I think there's been opportunity to ask questions, but in case there's some questions that developed, I'm here to answer them.
Does anyone have a question? I think we've been thoroughly informed. Thank you so much. Is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you. Is there a second? Motion has been made and seconded to approve the proposed instructional time model. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Action item 6.10, approving the FAFSA Summer Support Intergovernmental Agreement between Yuma Union High School District and the Arizona Board of Regents. Ms. Anderson, is there anything we need to know that wasn't in our board book, you think?
This is part of the Arizona Board of Regents, along with the Arizona Governor's Office finish line to the FAFSA campaign, and so it's extending from the school year into the summer, and it'll provide stipends to Yuma Union counselors to be able to provide FAFSA support services, targeted outreach, to support students and families as they are applying for FAFSA for the 24-25 school year, so it just extends the support into the summer for them.
Well, and they need it, because look at what happened this year. Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns? Is there a motion, please?
I move that the governing board approve the FAFSA Summer Support Intergovernmental Agreement between Yuma Union High School District and the Arizona Board of Regents.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Ms. Craddock, seconded by Mr. Lara. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Action item 6.11, the revised employee compensation package for the 2023-2024 school year. Is there a motion? Oh, is there, let's take a motion first.
I move that the governing board approve the revised employee compensation package for 2023-2024 school year.
Thank you. Seconded by Mr. Lara. Thank you. Mr. Lambert.
Just to piggyback off the last item, part of what we're doing there is we're just adding the FAFSA stipend to the 23-24. And then in addition to that, Ms. Anderson was gracious enough to write a wonderful grant, I think it was, to get dual enrollment teacher incentive stipend for the amount of $306.56. So we'll be adding that to the compensation packet as well with your approval.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns from anyone? Perfect. Let's take a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Lambert. Pope. Okay, we're going to. Oh, I thought it was a typo. We have the employee compensation packet revision for 2024-2025 school year. Is there a motion? It's on page.
The governing board approve the revised 2024-2025 employee compensation packet.
Thank you, Ms. Craddock. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lara. Mr. Lambert.
Once again, some of this is to piggyback off the other, and by it going into 2 different years, we're having to add it to both. But there's a few updates with this one. The first one is that we're updating the classroom site fund for the Prop 301 teacher compensations. The initial one was 0 to 10,000. We're upping that to 0 to 20,000. Of course, it's based on availability of funds. And then the teacher menu and performance pay is the same way. We're also adding the FAFSA stipend. 2 other pieces that we're adding is the way that the general leave and the vacation leave is accrued starting July 1, where at the last board meeting we discussed how it was going to be done with half of the bank coming up front and then the other half coming in the second half of year for every employee. And then also, in addition, the Prop 301 individual certified staff performance, we added the ed technology as approved area for teachers and 301 individuals that are eligible for 301 to have that as a performance-related goal. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. I appreciate this little, with the pages, the little bullets. That was very helpful in the board book. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else have a comment? Okay. Well, the motion has been made and seconded to approve the revised 2024-2025 employee compensation packet. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6.13, personnel. It is recommended that the governing board approve the personnel action to hire the attached individuals. Is there a motion?
Second.
Wasn't two personnel issues taken out of the personnel?
We pulled them for consent,
Oh, we did that through the consent.
right? We don't have to pull them again, do we?
No.
No, okay. Yeah, I apologize. I got very sidetracked. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the personnel.
The personnel? Okay, perfect. Seconded by Ms. Craddock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome to the district. Item 6.14, consideration to approve ESA, AIA athletic participation. We all read about it in our board book. Is there a motion, please?
I move that the governing board approve the Empowerment Scholarship Account AIA athletic participation fee.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns? Yes, ma'am.
So this is just for the record. I already know the answer, but I think the public, considering the questions that were posed to me during the week after the agenda came out, one being, what are students that are homeschooled or anyone that utilizes our district that doesn't attend or not enrolled, do we get federal funding for them?
Great question.
We don't receive federal or state funding for students who are not enrolled in our district. So if you're a homeschooled student, we do not receive money for you.
Correct. My second question is, who pays for our sports programs, and whoever pays for, do they cover homeschool kids, ESA?
So on that question, who pays for it? Well, we do have a current participation fee of $45. Students enrolled in our district and we're receiving funding from the state, $45 does not cover athletics. It runs at a deficit. And there's studies out there that talk about the importance of students involved in their school. Athletics, activities, fine arts, there's better buy-in. They're here every day. Their grades improve. So athletics is an important component along with fine arts and activities. The principal's budget, which is generated from the students who are enrolled full-time, helps offset the cost. Booster clubs help offset the cost, but they do operate in a deficit. So the participation fees do not, $45 do not cover that. AIA bylaws specifically cover homeschool students who register with the county superintendent's office. If you're a homeschool student receiving an ESA voucher, currently the AIA doesn't really cover that, but at the same time, those students are not generating any funds for us as well to help offset the cost of athletic programs.
And if I can make a clarification, so you have the Empowerment Scholarship, so that's your ESA, and then you have the term homeschool. So ESA, the Empowerment Scholarship, as it says, provides funding and supports for students meeting specific eligibility requirements. So the parents have to apply, and then they're given the funding to be able to support the needs, the educational needs of their children. While homeschooling gives parents full control over their child's education without the financial assistance from the state. So this is specifically for the ESA students that would want to participate in sports in Yuma Union High School District.
And the kids that homeschool, if they want to participate?
There's no fee.
There's a $45 fee as every Yuma Union High School District
And
student
that's
pays.
it?
Correct.
And that's it?
Yep, and all of this will be put online within the next couple weeks. It's ready to go, so that it'll be there for the parents for information, along with a form guiding them through the steps of what they need to do, whether you're a homeschool with the Yuma County Superintendent's Office or you do receive the ESA scholarship.
Perfect, thank you.
Right, well, something else, and this is also for the record, because most people don't know what the AIA is, and a lot of parents think that we own all sports. Can you explain that for the record, people watching on social media here?
This is must-watch TV as well. So the AIA, the Arizona Interscholastic Athletic Association, they govern athletics in Arizona for public and charter schools and private schools. So for us to compete against any schools, we belong to that organization. And we actually pay dues as well, and we have to follow the rules that they provide. And it's just not athletics that they govern. They also govern, for example, JROTC competitions and chess and spirit line. So there's some activities and athletics that they govern, but we have to follow their bylaws.
Okay, last question, just out of curiosity. If a charter school didn't have, for instance, football, can one of their students come to one of our high schools?
No, they cannot.
Okay.
It's against the AIA bylaws.
That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Gonzalez?
I was just gonna say, what they can do is wait for the following year, just go to another high school that is not a charter school and participate.
Right. No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but a lot of people want to be in a charter school.
Just for the record, I encourage everyone to tour our schools to see the wonderful facilities we have. And whether you're ESA, homeschool, welcome to Yuma Union High School District.
Exactly. Those are some great
Thank you,
questions.
Mr. Brianza.
Great question there.
Now I've forgotten, did we take a motion? Did we make a motion already? We did, okay, so we just get to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item 6, no, that was it. Okay, action item 6.15. approving the IGA between the Arizona Board of Regents, University of Arizona, and the Yuma Union High School District. Is there a motion?
So, second.
Motion made by Ms. Craddock, thank you. Second by Mr. Gonzalez, thank you. Ms. Sanderson, is there anything you need to share, or is it all in the book? We're good.
It's all in the book. This is an agreement with the University of Arizona to offer what we call dual enrollment for our CTE Engineering 4, Biomedical Technology 2. That's the fall semester course, and Biomedical Technology 2, that's in the spring. So it is $100 a credit, and students would receive credit from the U of A for taking the Yuma Union courses.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Then let's take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 6.16, call for executive session.
Make a motion to go to executive session.
Motion made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Ms. Craddock to go to executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. If you're not here when we get back, we'll understand.